evening, viewer. It's the 2nd of July, 2023, and you're most welcome to the NILE's weekly news roundup on Westnile television, where we give you the highlights of the news bulletins of the week every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. My name is Akumringa Christine. Let's dive straight into the stories that made headlines throughout the week. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Quiltrin Grace Freedom, has warned the school administrators in Northern Uganda to desist from sending away learners over petty payments to schools. The minister made this warning during the 60th anniversary celebration of the Nebi Catholic Parish in Nebi Catholic Diocese. The minister, Quiltrin, represented the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda as the chief guest. Dennis Soringi reports more.
Yesterday, Immaculate Heart of Mary, Nebi Cathedral Parish, the headquarters of Nebi Catholic Diocese, celebrated 60 years anniversary under the theme Do What He Tells You, taken from the book of John, chapter 2, verse 1 to 5. Nebi Cathedral Parish, that was under the jurisdiction of Annual Catholic Parish, became autonomous in 1963. The celebrations attracted many Catholic believers from across the diocese and beyond. The celebrations were also used for raising funds towards the completion of the Nebi Cathedral Multipurpose Hall. In his homily during the Holy Mass, the Bishop Ordinary of Nebi Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Raphael Pomonywakoraj, acknowledged the contributions of the first parish priest who founded the parish.
It is the first parish in this diocese founded by a diocesan priests. All the other parishes we have were founded missionaries, but Nebi was founded by Father Emilio Negwa, and this was the first diocesan priest that founded even a parish of Nebi.
The bishop also underscored the contributions made by the parish priests who served in the cathedral parish.
We thank the priests that passed through this parish as administrators, as pastors over the years. Each one of them has left a footmark, has pushed the parish to a certain level, both in quality and quantity, and we still enjoy the fruits of their work.
It was then a moment of joy after the Mass as Christians, together with the invited guests led by the State Minister for Northern Uganda, accompanied by the area members of Parliament, displayed their dancing strokes as they moved to support the fundraising drive to complete the multi-million multi-purpose parish hall. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, who represented the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, as the chief guest, announced a 20 million Ugandan shillings supported from the Prime Minister.
Agenu danu ma ujolu lembe pa Prime Minister ujolu maber lembe ne winjire bange ma be jolu sende ma message moku bini bagania kuda kur lembe isimu send a TA office million pierario
Ashim Suleiman, Nebi Municipal Member of Parliament, who has been part and parcel in any fundraising drives organized by Nebi Catholic Diocese, even when he was not yet a Member of Parliament, says he has a very strong attachment with the Catholic faith, much as he is a Muslim.
Some of us, like I said, when I made a brief speech there, we used to come there and pray in that church when I was a primary pupil in Nebi Primary School. So we used to come there every morning before we go to class. We would come there and pray. And you know, for me, I'm a Muslim. But I will come there just to go and see Dr. Maria holding his son Jesus. So they will bring us irrespective of our religion.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Kuyushin Grace Freedom, who contributed over 2 million at her capacity, used the occasion to caution the schools not to send away learners because of petty payments and calls upon parents to always play their role in educating their children.
The President has always moved around and has wondered why is enrollment of children in schools, especially primary schools, low. But this has also been coupled with the statistics from UBOS, which states that out of all the children in P7, only 12% go to secondary school. That means 88% disappear. They just drop out of school. No head teacher must send children out of school because of prep fees and because of report card money. We parents, we need to support our children with uniform, with books, and with food. Actually, out of these three, food is the most important. You can see the example of adults in workshops. By 10, they are already complaining of hunger. But you have sent your child to school without food, and the child is going to be there from 8 to 4 p.m. How does your child concentrate in class?
According to the census conducted by Immaculate Heart of Mary, Nebi Cathedral Parish in 2022-2023, it is found out that the parish has a total of over 11,000 Catholics. Dennis Oringi, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The late Justice Stella Aracha Moko was laid to rest at her ancestral home in Juba Village, Dukia Hill Ward, Nebi District, in a burial ceremony presided over by the Bishop of Nebi Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Raphael Pomoni Wokorach, who advised the Civil Servants and Judicial Service Commission staff to always have the truth, passing out judgments. Take a look.
The Bishop of Nebi Catholic Diocese, Right Reverend Raphael Pomoni Wokorach, has advised civil servants and Judicial Service Commission staff to always have the truth while passing out judgments. The Bishop made this revelation during the funeral service of Lady Justice Stella Aracha Moko at Nebi Catholic Ceremonial Ground. According to the Bishop, Alur culture allows their natives to be buried in ancestral home. He commended the ruling of the court following the contention over where the body of Justice Stella Aracha to be buried, but encouraged the bereaved family members to have faith as Stella Aracha Moko fought a good fight.
After all that has been spoken about her on the televisions and the compliments, the accolades, the great tribute that was given to her, I take all those and offer them as your prayer intentions for her. We Alur people have many traditions. You know us, know that some are odd elements of traditions, some are good. I don't know what category this one falls. That normally we are linked to our ancestral homeland.
What say our mother loved people a lot.
Meanwhile, Grace Christian Freedom, State Minister for Northern Uganda, urged the believers to always keep their faith as they care for one another. Kuyushin added that Justice Stella Aracha Moko lived her life honorably and appealed to the mourners to emulate her good deeds and legacy she left behind.
We know how she was passionate about the girl child, about women empowerment. When lastly, Pakwach got a private girls' school, Ogenda Girls' School, she was passionate, she was there personally. She made her contribution materially and also financially. And every time she would ask about what women programs were there. I also remember when she led the Uganda chapter of the Association of the Women Judges to Arua, together with the late Justice Kikonyogo and our sister here, Justice Elizabeth. And they moved with a big drama group. They came to educate women on the law.
Justice Richard Butera, the Deputy Chief Justice, Republic of Uganda, in his speech, described Stella Arash Amoko as an instrumental judge who depended on the truth and transparency, who will be missed by many people.
As a High Court judge in 1997, she served in that position for 13 years. She was promoted to the Court of Appeal, Constitutional Court, where she served for 3 years between 2010 and 2013. Due to her diligence and industry, she was elevated to the Supreme Court bench on 20th June 2013, where she has served for almost 10 years. Honorable Dede Justice Alach was instrumental in the revival of the East African Community Affairs when she served as a judge and deputy principal judge of the East African Court of Justice between 2006 and 2013.
Meanwhile, Right Honorable Rukiana Kadama, the third Deputy Prime Minister, who was the chief guest during the burial, said the country has lost 3 justices within the period of 6 months. According to her, government has contributed 110 million shillings for the burial of Lady Justice Stella Arash Amoko. Lady Justice Stella Arash Amoko had a illustrious legal career spanning 44 years, and at the time of her death on June 17th this year, she was serving as a Justice of the Supreme Court, a position she was appointed in 2013. In January 2021, she was appointed as a member of the Judicial Service Commission, representing the judiciary, a position she held until her demise. She was born on 5th October 1945 and is survived by her husband, Ambassador James Idule Amoko, children and grandchildren.
Today marks the journey of no return. Our Lady Justice Amoko Stella, who died on 17th of this month, and she was buried today. Westnile TV, Alfred the Walk,
And more in our stories for the evening. The stakeholders involved in the saga surrounding Onduparaka Stadium had a joint stakeholders engagement at the Arua City Resident City Commissioner's office to amicably resolve the dispute. The conflict began when the management of Greenlight Stadium failed to reach an agreement with the Honorable Osuru Maureen, the area member of Parliament, who had a function at the facility where she donated sewing machines to her voters. Farish Majid reports more.
Stakeholders involved in the ownership of Onduparaka Stadium, also known as Greenlight Stadium, yesterday came together to peacefully resolve the conflict pertaining the takeover from the club's management. This comes after a week-long conflict that was witnessed on media between some members of the stakeholders, in which letters got circulated. In a close to 4 hours indoor meeting organized by the Arua Resident City Commissioner termed to be of charity, in which journalists were barred from attending, some sources stated that the conflicting parties decided to reconcile and sign a binding document for them to equally benefit from the deal. Shortly after the meeting, Marlon Avutia, the Ivu Division Mayor, regretted the incidences and blamed the fracas on exemption of some stakeholders in the management of the facility over the years.
What I want to regret so much for the last 12 years of the existence of the club has been the fact that these key 3 stakeholders have never come to sit down to agree on how the stadium should be managed. So if it is government function, what conditions are supposed to be for government to access the facility? If it is a church function, what conditions are there? If it is a Onduparaka Primary School, which in this case is not a government, what is supposed to be the condition? Now, the Onduparaka Football Club management, where does their rights and responsibility stop? This kind of agreement has never been there. I want to regret that partly it is what led to the fracas. So,
Meanwhile, Drabe Godfrey, the head of communications and public relations at Ondoparaka Football Club, called for calm as the issue gets resolved.
I would like to assure the general public and our fans that people should be calm. We have resolved the issue. People should resolve normally and we should interact normally. We should not attack each other. We should take this. The sportsman spirit is a spirit of fair play, not attacking each other. That should be taken positively. These things are there. Wherever there are gaps, this is the right time for us to fix the remaining gaps. And the
Draparibayo Benjamin, who represented the Church of Uganda, appealed to the parties to respect the MOU that is yet to be drafted.
Concerning individuals or groups, so we are requesting them to use and understand carefully so that we stand firm ground.
Osoru Morin, the woman member of parliament, Arua City, urged the people of West Nile to support their own home clubs.
You know, I don't have any intentions to fight my club. That's it. I have no interest. This is my club. And you know, we the leaders are supposed to be supportive of the club. Because having football, some club is a very, it's damn expensive. Damn expensive. How I wish that we the leaders, when they, not only club, but the main clubs we have now, but when they come for support, they need us to support them, so we have to support them according to what we have in your own capacity. So I feel like this club has been part of the government. It has done a lot. If you have to send one person, it's employing more than 60 people. That is enough. So you make that even look at the club itself, typically it's enough. So we look forward to working together with them in the future. And even now, let's continue supporting our clubs in Westnile, whatever we do, but all the clubs that exist in Westnile. We should offer, even if we don't have the money, but what you can support them at your own level, don't suppose directly. So the people of Arua City and the Westnilers, we should be united as well, because football is something, sports is something that unites us. Without sports, we are done.
As per the result of the meeting, it was agreed that the club remains in charge of the facility as the parties await to sign a memorandum of understanding in 2 weeks' time. Farish Majid, West Nile TV Nalcast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The Paramount Chief of Madi, His Royal Highness Johnny Stephen Kangoro, is now a free man following the dismissal of the case on the 23rd of June 2023 by the Chief Magistrate, His Worship Innocent Omara, at the Chief Magistrate Court in Ajimani District. Onzima Allen reports more. Sorry for the temporary interference. More in our stories for the evening. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Quiltrin Grace Freedom, has ordered the fresh audit of the Madiokolo District revenue performances for the financial year 2021-2022 after the leaders failed to account before the members of the public. Honorable Quiltrin was speaking during the recent community baraza organized by the Office of the Prime Minister in Pawar Sub-County, in which the members of the community accused the leaders for poor service delivery, poor accountability and poor transparency. Frederick Dramadri reports more.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Quichin, has ordered for a fresh audit of the funds utilized by Madiokolo District local government for service delivery during the financial years 2021-2022 after technocrats failed to adduce evidence of the activities conducted during that period. In a community baraza organized by the Office of the Prime Minister aimed at assessing service delivery gaps in Pawar Sub-County for Madiokolo District, several technocrats, including the Chief Administrative Officer, boycotted the meeting. However, in this meeting, locals accused their leaders for concealing information on development programs rolled by government and not being transparent. Meanwhile, the available heads of department, who were called to present activities conducted under their dockets during the financial years 2021-2022, diverted the attention of the minister from evaluating the budget performance for 2021-2022 to the activities of the ending financial year 2022-2023. This prompted the State Minister to recommend for a forensic audit for the funds used for service delivery during the financial year 2021-2022.
That we should do an audit for the district. Our instruction was very clear that we are going to analyze the performance of the funds given to this district for the financial year 2021-2022. And you say that is the instruction you gave to the technical people. And all of them come to give report of 2022-2023. So what are you avoiding? What are you avoiding for 2021-2022? For which the letter is very clear. If you don't do it now, me, that is the report I'm taking back. Because the instruction was very clear for that financial year and not for this financial year.
Meanwhile, Tokos Swaib, the RDC Mariokolo district, says the Baraza meeting is a fulfillment of government's commitment of public accountability.
Commitment as government in the manifesto. And one of the commitments actually we shall be evaluating our programs or sub-delivery through regular Baraza meetings where we shall be able to get feedback from the community, and that's why we're here today.
According to the Auditor General's report, as of June 30th, 2022, during the financial year in question, Mariokolo district failed to account for 217,166,077 shillings out of the 40 billion Ugandan shillings that was approved for the district's budget. Frederick Dramatri, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The Bishop of Nebi Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Ponzo Zele Awinju, received the Archbishop Church of Uganda Province, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, at Pakwach Bridge for his pastoral visit to the West Nile region. The man of God was welcomed at the Pakwach Bridge in Pakwach Town Council on Friday, the 30th of June 2023, and had a brief stopover at the Uganda College of Commerce, Pakwach, before proceeding to the St. Stephen's Cathedral, Goli. Let's have more on that story.
The Archbishop of the Province of Church of Uganda visited Uganda College of Commerce in Pakwach Town Council, Pakwach District, in his pastoral visit to the Diocese of West Nile. The Archbishop, who arrived at 2 p.m., was filled with words of love and unity for the people of Pakwach, Nebi Anglican Diocese. In his words to the patients of Pakwach Health Center for His Grace, the most Archbishop expressed gratitude for the love people showed him at Pakwach Bridge.
Now may the Lord bless you. May the Lord take care of you. May the Lord take care of your families. The Lord take care of your education. May the Lord take care of the security here. May God bless you because you have received that so warmly. The MP moi, RDC de Mayor, all leaders, Judongo Sheke, Mothers Union, no. All of you, Wun Sheke, students, Awia School, you have received us well. God bless you. God bless you. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
He said Christians should change their attitudes towards life by not dwelling on the past because no one was born with wealth. He described homosexuals as enemies of Christ. The Archbishop warned Christians to desist from homosexuality and focus on heavenly recognition by working hard and doing good.
To be taken for work. They recruit West Nile people to go and cut sugar cane.
Kabedu majiba shakudano be aitungo matungtung gibinu kene manju ponjugi kedemite mutich masagone mitongu tiang
iteru gikatongu tiang loka bunyoru gikugine kubusoga. But later on the people saw it good to make sure this place becomes a better place to train people. Mungu walioshindwa ibijurutuo and also man to walk there. Danu makimio point. Dakitari. Kudanu makinas. Pray for those who are sick in your health. Wakwayo kidanu makikwayo point kibengi Mungu. I pray that you take care of them. Yeah, you pray kaka kimaniti. The medicine they are looking. The
the Archbishop, Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalo, will be for 7 days in Nebi Anglican Diocese. Then he will proceed to Madi and Westnile Diocese. Alfred Jawok, Westnile TV.
And more in our stories for the evening. Adjumani District nurses marched peacefully to Adjumani District headquarters to demand for an apology and an action to be taken towards their abuse on duty by patients and in charges. The nurses protested and laid down their tools as a result of a physical assault of 2 maternity ward nurses by the hospital administrator, Oja Michael, that took place on the 23rd of June 2023. The nurses added that this isn't the first time occurrence and the patients as well physically assault them while they are on duty. Onzima Allen reports more.
Adjumani District nurses on 26 June 2023 marched peaceful to Adjumani District headquarters to demand for the district leaders to apologize on the bad act committed against them. The hospital administrator, Mr. Oja Michael, on Friday 23rd June 2023 beat 2 nurses on duties at the maternity ward. Addressing their complaint, Sister Opia Vicky, a senior nursing officer at Adjumani Hospital who led the nurses, said that it is not the first time nurses are facing challenges of beating in the hospital while on duty.
As nurses, we are the backbone of the hospital and the backbone of health fraternity. Today we are challenged and we feel there's no way we can voice our challenges except bringing our challenges before you. 2 years ago, one of our nurses, General OPD, was beaten by patients, by caregivers. But no issue was taken or brought before you. It died silently. We are asking, why is that happening? In the same year, around July 21, another nurse was also beaten by a patient, and no one brought the issue before you. Even when we bring our issues to the administrators in the hospital, it's being handled silently. They transfer you with your pain. They transfer you with the aggression to another ward. And then we realized just recently, amongst all the issues that has happened, backwardness, on Friday, there were nurses in maternity ward who by mandate of Uganda were relatively offering their services. But the hospital administrator comes in, picks this nurse because the carer or the patient rang that I'm being mishandled. So the admin came, picked this nurse out and beat the 2 nurses. Beat the 2 nurses with swollen faces, with trauma on their faces. Sir, about the rights of the employees. Where are the rights of these employees? The GBV Act of Uganda talks about no one should be battered or beaten while at work. Are we offering justice? 3, we're also talking about the workers' union action of the people before you. We feel our rights have not been protected. We feel our rights have been abused. That's the reason why we are here before you. We have come with some few recommendations or some acts that we feel you can take on. 1, what does the standing order of the government of Uganda say on what has happened right now? 2, it's your mandate, it's your role to deploy health workers in the different hospitals, in the different wards. And then we are also saying that we're demanding for apologies of what has happened to one of our nurses, or to 2 nurses, and many of the nurses.
Tadrametu Dominic, the district health officer, Adjumani District, appealed to the nurses and urged them to go back for their normal duty while they will handle the matter pertaining them with the district leader.
Let us continue to communicate to people, but we should never negate our duties. We should not leave loopholes. From my investigation, whether you are slapped, the one who slapped, all of them are culpable.
That's why I said they will appear.
Yes, and we shall listen to all the cases. So please let us not expose ourselves. If you have come to work, you be there, please. As much as I'm concerned, I will continue to support you, but let us really not leave these loopholes. We should accept scrutiny. We should examine ourselves. We should do our best always. And where possible, if we have erred, we need to change.
Granfield Omonda, the Chief Administrative Officer at Jumani District, apologized for what has happened, asked the nurses to continue with their normal duties, and they should continue also to save people's lives.
You have given a recommendation, you follow the standing order, the demand for apology is separate. I want to say, in one of my recommendations that this meeting, I appreciate the first recommendation that we are not in the standing order. This matter is not out of our hand. This matter is not out of our hand.
Reporting for Westnile TV, Onjima Alani, Ajumani, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. Arua Public Secondary School were declared the winners of this year's 2-day athletics championship that took place at Barifa Stadium in Arua City. Muni University Secondary School won the ladies category, having faced off a stiff competition from Mbara Secondary School and Arua Secondary School, while Arua Public took the boys' trophy, also facing a tight race from Arua Secondary School and Mbara Secondary School. However, a scuffle ensued as students headed back to their respective schools, leading to a joint security intervention. Farish Majid and Frederick Dramadri report.
3 students whose identities are not yet established have been arrested and detained at Arua Central Police Station following their involvement in activities of hooliganism contrary to the Federation's set guidelines. This was during the 2023 Arua City Secondary Schools athletics competitions, in which Arua Public Secondary School emerged winner in the boys category with a total of 156 points, followed by Arua SS, who pulled 133 points among others, while Muni Girls SS won the girls category with 136 points, followed by Arua SS out of the 13 schools that turned out for the competition. The event, beefed by security, was generally peaceful, attributed to the pre-event engagements by stakeholders, as revealed by Angwa Bernard, the chairperson Arua City Secondary School Teachers Association.
Competition. It is not a competition for hooliganism, for villagers, and we have tried as much as possible to call both the UPDF, the police, the patriotism club, and also use some teachers to move around, because we are in the forest actually, because this is a bush area where some students have come up with the idea, or even some people have come with the idea of trying to drink alcohol and smoke opium, which we are moving, even the UPDF are moving around. We have instructed them, like we have arrested some. Yesterday we arrested some people who disrupted the police while going back home with their vehicle. So 3 were arrested yesterday, and today some have also been arrested by the police.
What was the reason for arresting them?
From the stones to the police. Yesterday, they smashed part of the vehicle of the police yesterday. So there's.
On the other hand, students in various schools that participated appreciated the high level of organization witnessed in this year's school athletics competitions.
People have gathered here. We are meeting our friends. Friends we finished primary with. We have met them here today, so it's a happy day for me.
It's the only thing with all stadium that we can use for athletics for hosting these games. I would suggest if the officials have some finance to put in time to develop this place, to make it a better place, so that we promote the talents of the students, all the schools from Westnile.
Similarly, Omar Mohamedin, the coach of Arua Secondary School that emerged second in both boys and girls category, says the officiation was transparent.
Very good. There's nothing I've seen bad. That's by no complaints from the students. So it indicates that everything is okay. No school has complained so far.
Anguzu Rashid, the disciplinary committee chairperson, pledged to indefinitely ban schools identified to be participating in discipline cases.
Aware that Arua City has 9 government-aided secondary schools and 24 private schools. The private schools have children who belong to Uganda, and therefore the children in the private schools are not private students or private children. They are children of Uganda who are entitled to these activities. By some schools not participating, we are denying many children there the possibility or the opportunity to be the next Injikurus.
However, the day was later marred by violence as students got involved in rallying battles with security agencies. Some were also seen pelting stones at one another on their way to their respective schools in the city. Alice Akelo, the Arua City Resident Commissioner, earlier warned the students from indulging in discipline cases, which, however, fell in deaf ears.
God has given you talents. Those who are running, run very well, and God will take you to another level. We want to pick another Injikuru from here. Why do we these days only get runners from Sebei? We have you people here. The Kiprotich are here. So we want you to do what you are doing with passion, so that it is not about academics. You can run and become somebody. You can play football and you become somebody. Only if you do it with discipline. So I want to call upon you to have discipline in everything you do. Even as we end this event, let us not attack each other.
Last year, Arua City was stopped from participating in national events following indiscipline acts. However, this year, Arua City is privileged to host the forthcoming regional athletics competitions for Westnile region. This will run from 30th of June to 2nd of July at NTC Muni. Farish Majid, Frederick Damadri, Westnile Television Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. 5 goats are said to have aborted from a weed known by locals as garamba that has invaded Koboko municipality in the last weeks. The weed that grows at knee level, according to locals, not only affects livestock but also humans in contact with. Frederick Jamadri reports more.
Leaders in Koboko municipality are calling for the intervention of researchers following the invasion of a new species of weeds, local known as the garampa, that is threatening livestock and humans in the area, whose spillovers have been witnessed in other districts of Westnile region. The weed that is feared to have aborted goats, inflicted wounds on humans and caused economic challenges as well as retarded the quality of production in farmlands, only takes 2 months for its growth. Sandga Boniface, a livestock farmer in Koboko North Division, testifies that 5 of his goats have given birth to premature kids that eventually died after realizing that the goats had consumed the weed.
Goats began premature birth. And when I started investigating, I got from friends, from many people who have also experienced. They asked me whether I have this plant around my compound. I confirmed I do have, said exactly that's the problem. You observe, if your goats are feeding on this, you observe when they are pregnant what would happen. And indeed, I started observing that the normal goats, those that are not pregnant, can eat and they are normal. But the pregnant ones, once they have eaten this particular plant, they don't give birth to mature kids. They give birth to premature kids. So now that was when I picked interest in knowing more about the dangers of this plant.
It appears that little has been known by members of the public about the weed that grows at knee level and starts flowering just in 2 months, presenting the flowers with white colors. In its characteristics, they grow in a community. Aletiru Rose, one of the farmers in Koboko West Division, says she has no knowledge about the negative impacts of the plant, though she has seen it one of the usual weeds in the garden.
I don't think whether it's bad or it's what. And for us, it comes alone. And when you dig, you harvest it, and it gives the soil became fertile. So for the others, I didn't know something about it again.
Dr. Sanya Wilson, the mayor of Koboko municipality, says the financial implications of the weed is high and retards farmers' morale to venture into agriculture as well as affects the beautification of the town. He calls upon researchers to intervene into understanding the weed so as to come up with potential remedies to guide stakeholders.
Which is famously called the garamba. This weed has invaded Westnile, Koboko district. This weed is threatening not only the farmers, it is threatening livestock, it's threatening the human beings. This weed, when you pass near it and when it pricks you, you will feel pain, eventually you get a scar. And even the flowers, when it's pollinating, as you move through it, you feel the body itching with this. And where it has grown, you cannot plant anything. It's all over. We have tried to uproot. When you uproot, actually the more you uproot it, the more you spread it. So we don't know what can be done. So this has become a threat for us. Today, I even had to go and put money, around 10 million shillings, to remove all the grass in the mayor's garden to enable us plant more grass and beautify the mayor's garden because it has been invaded by this weed.
Koboko Municipal Agricultural Officer Kizito Moki encouraged farmers to seek advice from the technical personnel in their respective places, including divisions, sub-counties or districts, in order for them to be guided.
We can't really confirm that technically. I don't think and it can not support. There could be other causes that the farmers are misinterpreting. We have veterinary officers around. The municipality to have one assistant livestock husbandry, animal husbandry officer. We also have our neighborhood here. We have district veterinary officer and also related veterinary staff. So they can always report these cases to such technical people for proper help.
This weed has spread to different parts of Westnile region, especially in the districts of Koboko, Maracha, Koboko Municipality, Terego, Arua, and Arua City. They mostly occupy spaces that have a lot of manure. Frederick Jamadri, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And to end our Nilecast weekly news roundup only on Westnile Television, Noya District Local Government has released into the individual bank accounts of parish development model beneficiaries over 2 billion shillings to start achieving the goal of eradication of poverty through different business enterprises. Stephen Okello from Gulu reports more.
Jubilation with joy as locals in Noya District receive messages from their respective fund as PDM money hits their account. Over 200 members confirm receiving the message right at the district headquarters during the launch.
This money has come timely because now in the second season of the weather here in Noya District. So this money, the first thing that I'll put into use, I'll get the money from the bank and then hire a tractor and then go and plow my garden.
While others are yet to receive as the days go by.
We are dancing. We are launching.
According to Dr. Geoffrey, the district commercial officer, Noya District, despite going through series of challenges, all the 17,431 community members under various enterprises is expected to receive their money.
There's 272 beneficiaries will get a total of 269,700,000 today right away in their respective bank accounts.
Nantume Jennifer, the Chief Administrative Officer, Noya District Local Government, says government has earmarked 4.4 billion shilling for PDM in Noya District, and already 2.2 billion is now in the account of the district, which is now being distributed to the individual account through their SACCO.
It is at this time that you're going to get capital to start your small businesses. Because even the rich people, you see, they were not rich. They began small and grow big. So if I were you in a special way, we would thank the President of Uganda for having initiated this for me, and my people here, we are implementers.
However, Emmanuel Oraj, the chairman of Noya District, says for the program to achieve its goal in the district, government should consider empowering farmers with irrigation scheme, since majority of the beneficiaries are farmers.
We have some rivers that do not dry in Noya District. We need more of these interventions to have irrigation schemes that can supply over 600 people spread across Noya District so that they cannot stop production. That is my request to the government.
Leaders in Noya district are crying to government to consider prioritizing the district with irrigation scheme. Of the SACCO members benefiting from Paris development model in the district are farmers who are depending on the current unpredictable weather pattern due to climate change. Stephen Okello for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
And with that story, viewer, we've come to the end of the Nilecast Weekly News Roundup on Westnile Television. Thank you for being with us from the beginning of the Nilecast to the end of the Nilecast, only on Westnile Television. Please stay tuned to the rest of the subsequent programs that may follow. My name is Okumringa Christine. Have a good evening.